And we used to see this with regular police, okay, with Democrats for many, many years. What the liberals do is cause escalations, all right, that should not happen. And what I mean by escalations, when this was, and this was before BLM was ever heard of, for many, many years, what you would get from liberal activists, Democrat activists, involving police-involved shootings with African Americans, okay? What the Democrats spent years doing was convincing African Americans that every police stop was racist, that they were stopping you because of the color of your skin. And right then and there, that escalates things. Now, forward to 2026, ICE are federal agents. They are federal police officers like any other police officer, right? I was at the Donald Trump International Airport as an example on Saturday, made a YouTube video, right? There's Homeland Security officers there. They have the authority like any other police officer, like FBI agents, like ATF. Even the Park Service have armed officers. When police officers, whether they're your local police, your state police, or federal officers, pull you over and put the lights on, you've got to stop and comply. Okay? Now, if your rights are being violated, that's what you go to court for. You don't try to run police officers over on the streets in your car. You don't resist in the streets in your car. Okay? And whatever your situation is, you are resisting police officers. And what happens after that? Well, it's pretty sad. And if you look at the latest polls in Maine, Susan Collins is 4 points ahead in the latest polls. Some polls have her 2 points ahead. I saw one with 1 point ahead. No matter what poll you look at in Maine, Susan Collins is ahead. Okay, and this is a tactic of the left. So what happens with the illegals? They've been brainwashed by their own organizations and their own people that the ICE agents are not legitimate agents or police officers, and their commands are not legitimate. They've convinced them that they are the equivalent of the fugitive slave catchers of the 1800s that the Democrats used to send out after escaped slaves to the free states. So what happens is there's an escalation instantly. Renee Good and Preddy, they were activists. This person here, we don't have all the information yet. There's some speculation, but until it's confirmed in some other places, I'm not going to go into who the person is. I got some other stories I'm going to cover here, and they may give us some new information that are being updated as I'm speaking. And I'll go through those as the show goes on. But these leftist activists have convinced illegals that they're being stopped illegally, and that escalates things. And that gets people killed. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Just turning down YouTube. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is Michael. I'm in South Florida.
Okay, Michael in South Florida.
I don't know what people are complaining about. I mean...
yeah, of course we know what people are complaining about. When you look at all of these incidents, how did this crowd get out there so quickly? Right? How is it possible that the Democrats almost instantly have these protesters at Susan Collins' office? How does that even happen? And this ICE-involved incident, do you think it's a legitimate, and it's credible that a couple of days after the Graham Plattner concession speech, all of a sudden you have this going on? I don't think so. Your thoughts certainly are welcome. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to go through the CNN story. and they're updating things in real time. So there's an update going on right now. So after the update is through, I'll go into that story. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Ryan. It's Job for Nine out of California.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. All of your points are well taken. The one thing that I've never seen any Democrat who goes in front of any press conference, in front of any mic, ever actually say what needs to be said. And this is what needs to be said. If you are pulled over by the police, you need to follow the directions of the individuals who pulled you over. End of story. They've never said that.
No, they never do.
No, they've never done that. If you get pulled over for a parking ticket and you decide that you want to go ahead and flee from the police, then that becomes an escalated charge, and they follow you.
Well, what happens is like this sad incident last week, right? That with the guy in the white van. You know, you don't argue your case on the streets, whether it's local police or federal. That's what the court's for.
Exactly. But I've never heard any Democrat or anybody who cares so much for these individuals about their safety, about the fact that, how about this? How about you follow the commands so that the whole entire thing can be addressed in a safe manner? They've never said that because they do not care about these individuals. They are pawns. And every minority group that the Democrats end up codifying and patronizing to, it's the same thing. It started with the KKK, and now it's moving on to every other minority group. They're going to use them as their focal point.
That's correct.
And say that everybody is racist, and everybody is this, and everybody is that.
That's exactly right.
Unfortunately, people don't pay attention to history and find out exactly who started all of these Jim Crow laws and everything else. Oh, and by the way, who was the one who ended up opening up the floodgates? One last thing. You cannot be in this country illegally and not just break one law.
Exactly.
There's no way that you can exist within this country
and what are the odds? What are the odds out of all 50 states? Right after Graham Plattner drops out, ending his speech by saying F ICE, all of a sudden we've got these anti-ICE protesters and an ICE-involved shooting. What are the odds? Come on. Is it even credible to you?
They have people out there monitoring ICE activity. I know that they have groups out here in Los Angeles. I know that they have groups out in New York. I know that they have groups out everywhere where they basically have an immediate response force for whenever they end up seeing people that they end up,
exactly
ringing the bell and quickly assembling. That's the way that they end up doing it. But as I said before, if you care so much about these individuals, if you really care about them, there's two things that you could tell them. Follow the law if you're being actually pulled over so that there's no need for any escalation. Okay, running away from them, that's not going to work. Okay, they're going to end up following you. The second, take the $2,500, go back and start the process legally. That's the way it works.
And the other thing is, and I keep sharing this on the program every time these incidents come up. The United States is being colonized. Okay, it's being colonized, and these illegals they believe, because the Democrats tell them so, that they have manifest destiny, that they have a God-given right to be here, and we're in the wrong. ICE is in the wrong. Trump is the wrong, and to stand up and fight against your removal.
Not only that, they're basically indicating that you people, are above the law, that you don't have to follow
That's right.
the rules of law enforcement, and like everybody else does. Everybody knows that you don't end up fighting with a cop on the street who gives you a ticket. You go to the court, you plead your case, and you allow a judge. That's how it works in this first world country. Unfortunately, these people have ended up being brainwashed, like you said, to make them think that they're above the law, that they can run away from the police and do all of this nonsense because they're being used.
And I've got news for you. If I ran from the police and tried to run them over, they'd shoot me too. But I just don't do that.
But that's part of their training. A deadly weapon, which a car is, you're allowed to use lethal force because you're protecting yourself. Police do not enter into that profession so they can end up being killed. They are allowed to protect themselves. And if you don't like it, like I said, tell these people, follow what you're being instructed to do if you get pulled over, and let it play itself out safely. But they don't, because they want people to be shot, because then they end up making these little demonstrations.
Well, they think this is, think about it. The Democrats see this shooting as an opportunity to maybe defeat Susan Collins. So the Democrats are high-fiving over this shooting in Maine.
But you're going to see this, but don't forget, we have elections coming up, and they're coming up kind of quickly, and this is probably going to end up continuing. And the reason why it's going to continue is because of the fact that they're being placated to.
Yes.
They're being told that they're above the law.
Exactly.
They're being told that it's okay to run away from the police.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to attempt to run
Yeah.
over somebody.
That's right.
You don't have to follow the law. You're going to be fine. We're going to be out here protesting for you.
That's correct.
It's ridiculous.
Well, all right, I got to move on, but you make some good points. I agree with everything you said. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. I want to go. This is the latest on CNN. Okay. Listen to this. The mayor in Maine where this happened. Okay. The mayor of Lewiston. This is in Maine. The mayor of Lewiston said his city stands in support with the nearby city of Biddeford, Maine, following an ICE-involved shooting there, saying ICE needs to leave Maine now. ICE, really? These federal agents that work for the government of the United States government needs to get out of Maine? That's what he's saying? The mayor says, Lewiston stands with Biddeford during this time, and our hearts go out to the friends and family of the individual and the entire community. While an impartial and transparent investigation will take time, one thing is already clear. ICE needs to leave Maine now. This is nuts. This is nuts. Okay, we got it. Let's see here. Demands for ICE accountability. A person was killed today in an ICE-involved shooting in Biddeford, Maine, just days after federal agents fatally shot a Mexican immigrant during a traffic stop in Houston. So we don't have the identity as of this moment to who was shot by ICE. We'll see. Was it a liberal activist or was it an illegal? Houston was an illegal who was fleeing. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to take a quick break. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Welcome, one and all. So Maine is being overrun by the social justice warriors, Democrats, socialists, erase the border lunatics, and Graham Platner's out. So they got this new Democrat, Jordan Wood. He's the candidate now for the Democrats. And this, with this ICE involved, look at this guy, what this guy has to say. Really? When Bill Clinton became president, there were less than 2,000 Somalis in all of the United States. So, the Somalis that have come here have been since then. So this is not like going back in time. And, it really blows my mind that enforcing Medicaid fraud in the billions of dollars, by the way, how is that racist? But this is where the Democrats' minds are. The Democrat Party, it's been taken over by these communists, these Democrat socialists that have taken over the Democrat Party. Their goal is the downfall of the United States. Last week I went over the Democrat Socialist of America agenda. Their agenda includes abolishing the United States Senate and the presidency of the United States. So what they're calling for is the overthrow of the U.S. government, these Democrat socialists, and they are communist. They are communist. And you go around the world where communists have made their move. Where did the communists make their move and take over where it was not violent? And I know a lot of people out there, you may consider yourself a Democrat. But are you really this kind of Democrat? You want to eliminate the presidency of the United States, no longer have that office, or the United States Senate? Are you kidding me? That's not the United States? And if that's not the overthrow of the government, I don't know what is. And, people that are long-term Democrats, I think most people that are traditional Democrats, you're probably not. You think you are. You are a Democrat by habit kind of thing, right? Does that make sense? A Democrat by habit is a good way to describe it. And I think that's a pretty accurate description. I mean, are you, with what the Democrat Socialist of America are, which have taken over Maine, obviously, and other parts of the country. Make no mistake about it, they are communist. I was on Newsmax last week, and one of the topics on the program I was on was about these Democrat socialists, and I was on debating a Democrat, and he had that line, we're a big tent and all this stuff, and I ended that segment on Newsmax and with a famous quote, and I said, Ronald Reagan once said that Americans, he said this a lot in a stump speech he gave, and it was a quote from the head of the Communist Party USA back in the 30s. I can't remember that gentleman's name, but Ronald Reagan used this quote a lot. He said, Americans will never accept communism, but if you call it socialism, they will accept every last tenet of it. And that's what the communists are doing. There's a communist revolution going on, and they are doing it by taking over the Democrat Party. And they're doing it very violently. These ICE events around the country, now we're seeing in Maine, this is all the Democrat Socialist of America working with their allies with these border erasal people. What's the word? I can't say it. It's here in Florida right now, we're having a heat wave. The heat index is about 110 degrees today. It's like 90. Let me see what it says here on my phone. It's pretty hot in Florida. We are having a heat wave, but that's Florida, and it's the hottest time of the year. It says 92. We're going to get up to, it says 92, but the heat index is over 100 degrees, so it's a little hot. But what the Democrat Party has been taken over by are the Democrat Socialist of America, communist, and a lot of foreign influence, too. Here in Florida, we have a governor's race going on. You know, Ron DeSantis has been just an incredible governor of Florida, even though I have a lot of issues with his betrayal of the president. And Byron Donalds is the front runner. He's endorsed by the president, and I'm excited for Byron Donalds. But the Democrats are, you know, running a hopeless primary, and Hassan Piker had a Democrat socialist on from Florida. This is a Democrat. This is Hassan Piker. He's got a Florida Democrat socialist on the line in his studio with him, with all his little toys and everything that he has in there. You know, you see these influencers with their studios, and you know, and I have a very nice studio. I have very nice equipment here and everything else, and I broadcast on the radio from the same studio in the mornings. But I don't have these things behind me. And like when you guys see me on television, I'm usually behind a blank wall, an empty wall somewhere, you know, and I see these guys, they have all these things behind them. I tell my wife, I call those trinkets of personality. And you see all these influencers. Conservatives do it too, a lot of conservative influencers, and liberals do. They got all these little toys behind them and stuffed animals and just weird things, trinkets of personality, and it's pretty pathetic, you know. And I just have this nice studio here that I like, you know. But no trinkets of personality behind me, you know. A bunch of little toys. I mean, give me a break. But anyway, Hassan Piker, he has this Florida Democrat socialist on, and I'm in Florida, so I know Florida. And listen to what this guy talking about alligator Alcatraz and some other things. Okay, I'm going to play through this and we'll break it down. Now, I did a video. I went to Alligator Alcatraz in person. You know, Alligator Alcatraz, you know, that was pointing out it is a heat index of over 100 degrees right now. These guys in Alligator Alcatraz, they got it good. They got air conditioning and everything else. It is not a concentration camp, okay? Concentration camp with air conditioning, concentration camp with full medical care, concentration camp with a full legal library, right? I mean, that's not how concentration camps work. And by the way, there aren't showers in them that gas you, or ovens to cremate you after they gas you in the showers, okay? I mean, give me a break, okay? They call it a concentration camp. Give me a break. And let me go through this again. So this is Hassan Piker with this Florida Democrat socialist. Okay, environmental degradation of the other. You know, if you most of Florida is the Everglades, protected land, national park. That is, you know what? You know what's out there? There's nothing. It's muck. Look at my Alligator Alcatraz video and look at the extreme that I had to go to get there. It's on the Tamiami Trail, and there's. You know what's in the Florida Everglades? Alligators, Florida bobcats, pythons, water moccasins, sawgrass that'll cut you, and muck. There's nothing out there that, you know, there should be houses out there. Really, there should be oil. It's filled with oil, by the way, the Everglades. In fact, on the Gulf of America coast in Collier County, Florida, there are oil wells pumping oil, and they have been for 100 years in the Everglades. But no, and the Alligator Alcatraz facility was already there. It wasn't some new facility that they built, but the degradation of the Everglades. Yeah, with air conditioning and law libraries. I mean, this is your Democrat socialist. See, isn't this better? This nice studio I have behind me, as opposed to having a bunch of trinkets of personality. I mean, what does Hassan Piker have here? He's got a Cuban commie flag. I don't know, what are these? What's he got all these stuffed animals for and dolls? What's that about? Anybody know what this is all about? All these dolls? Does he play with these toys? What is all this stuff? What is all this stuff? But Hassan Piker, sadly, is not alone with the trinkets of personality. These guys, I tell you, with their studios, they have these things. They have these things all over the place. Now, all this talk with Mitch McConnell and everything else, Lindsey Graham was going to get the Save America Act passed through, and it was talked about today. And what he was going to do was get it done through that reconciliation, which is a way for them to be able to avoid the filibuster and everything else that goes along with that. By the way, the president, I just got this, President Trump, will be making a speech to the nation Thursday night at 9 p.m. prime time. Thursday night address to the nation by the president. I wonder what that's about. The topic is unknown. Okay? President Trump says he plans to make a speech to the nation Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, topic unknown. This was announced shortly after CENTCOM said they plan to resume the blockade on Iran tomorrow at 4 p.m. Well, isn't that something? Well, boy, we'll find out what that is. But Lindsey Graham was going to get the Save America Act passed, and this is Thune's worst nightmare. Now, this is Slotkin, who's the CIA senator, and she's talking to a group of Democrats about why they got to stop the Save America Act. Listen. Okay, now, first off, I personally believe that anyone who works for, she's a CIA person, I believe anyone who works for an intelligence agency should not be able to hold elected office. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you like the idea of these deep state people who work for the CIA and other organizations being elected? I don't think they belong. I mean, it's taking the deep state into the legislative branch, and I don't like it. But anyway, she said, what did she say? It'd be hard for Democrats. Let me see, what were her words exactly? Okay, well, isn't that interesting? Why would the Save America Act make it hard for any Democrat anywhere to win an election? All it does is require proof of citizenship before you can register to vote. My driver's license here in Florida says I'm a U.S. citizen, right? And require state-issued government ID to vote, right? You can vote with, you got to have government ID to vote. How does that stop Democrats from winning? Makes you wonder, huh? I tell you, these people, they're not even hiding it. And this idea about birth certificates, women have to bring birth certificates that are married. Women have already gotten their name changed. That's how they have their updated driver's licenses. In fact, women, when they get married, they get very excited. One of the first things you women do is get your updated driver's license with your married name, right? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Adam from New York.
Okay.
You there? Yeah, I'd like to give my condolences to Lindsey Graham's relatives.
Absolutely, his sister.
Yeah. I I think the ICE isn't, they're not doing enough. We need to form militia groups. And
Come on, come on, give me a break. No, come on.
No, it's illegal.
No, it's not. You don't want to. You don't want to. Listen, ICE, who have badges and guns and are sworn federal agents, are running into trouble. You know, you want to get a bunch of guys in militias playing police? I don't think so. You know, I tell you, see what happens with Democrats. You know, that last call, seminar caller. A seminar caller. You know what it is with these Democrats, okay? If you're on hold, hang in there. Democrats, we don't fit the mold that they want us to fit, right? So they have to go out there and play the stereotype. No, who's talking about and who are these militias? Who, the Patriot Front? Oh my goodness! Now, yeah, it just came down. Hold on, let me pull this up. Hold on a second, guys. Let me pull this up. Okay, the Lindsey Graham's sister has just been named the interim senator, replacing her brother and finishing out his term. Darlene, you know, and of course he raised her. Their parents both died when she was young and he was young, and he raised his sister, and that's pretty amazing, you know. Remember that happened when Sonny Bono, he was in Congress and he died, and they made his wife, she took over the seat. You know, this happens sometimes. Somebody dies and they give the family, and I'm really glad this happened, because did you see the sharks were circling in South Carolina, right? There were 3 people trying to get that Senate appointment. Trey Gowdy, oh boy, I can't think of her name. She just lost the one that just lost the governor's race. And Nikki Haley, okay, is the third. And all 3 of them were trying to get that appointment. They wanted that real bad. Now, Lindsey Graham had won his primary, so he you know, so they got to put up another candidate. Whether it'll be his sister running in the general election or not, I don't know. But I certainly don't want. Trey Gowdy hates Trump. You know, I would catch his show from time to time during the campaign, and he was going after Trump all the time, like non-stop. Yeah, Nancy Mace. Trey Gowdy, Nancy Mace, and Nikki Haley. Nancy Mace, I couldn't remember her name. All 3 of them were circling the waters. And Nancy Mace hates Trump. Trey Gowdy hates Trump. Nikki Haley hates Trump. And the president said this morning on a Fox interview that he liked the idea of Lindsey Graham's sister. And I'm glad it came down that way, instead of these Trump-hating, anti-MAGA rhino hacks that are up to no good, that were angling to get that appointment. And his sister getting it, I think it's pretty nice of the governor to do that. I want to take a moment. I want to talk about Tom Laporta. You know, hey, it's hot out because we're in hurricane season. It rains pretty much every afternoon. If you're in the state of Florida, Tom Laporta can help you. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. He's a good MAGA guy, and if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, you want to take care of it. He can handle the job of any size, too, whether it's one home, one office building, or an HOA with 500 units. He can do it. Give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. My name is Brian. We'll take a quick break and be back with more right after this. All right, and I want to take a moment to talk about Mike Lindell and My Pillow. Of course, I've been sleeping on My Pillows for years, and I told Mike Lindell, I said, I live in a My Pillow home because I have all the products that are. I pretty much have the whole website there. I've bought them all using our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, except the first My Pillow because Mike Lindell wasn't a sponsor of ours when I got the first My Pillow. But this hot summertime that we're in right now. The 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets at MyPillow.com are less than $30 with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. You know, the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets are made of 100% Giza Cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world, and they perfectly regulate your body temperature. In these hot summer months right now, you're cool and comfortable all night long. It's like having air conditioning in your bed. And in the winter, they keep you warm and toasty. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout on all the specials at MyPillow.com. So go there right now. The mega sale is going on. Huge discounts site-wide. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, Ro Khanna over the weekend tried to pull this crap in Israel. He got called out on Fox. Okay, yeah, what a bunch of nonsense that is. So Ro Khanna, he thinks he can just go into a military-controlled zone. They don't know who he is. Heck, most people here don't know who he is. He was trying to create an incident, and because, you know, he's Indian American, so because of his skin color and everything, he was trying to do this racist thing with the Israelis. Oh, they think I look Palestinian, and they wouldn't let me through. This is probably one of the biggest busts of a publicity stunt I think I've ever seen a member of Congress do. In fact, Ro Khanna's publicity stunt in Israel, that's almost as bad as some of you are old enough to remember that when Mort Downey Jr. claimed he got attacked by the skinheads in the bathroom in New York City. Remember that? Mort Downey Jr. said he got attacked by skinheads in a bathroom, in a men's room in New York City, and he went all over television about it. And they wrote, he said, all these anti-Semitic Nazi things all over his face, but all the writing was backwards because he wrote it himself in the mirror. Remember that? Ro Khanna, he's like almost as bad as that one. That was really bad. Now, it cannot go without mentioning that it's hard to believe it's been 2 years, but it was 2 years ago today that the Never-Trumpers shot our president, Donald Trump, in Butler, Pennsylvania. And you remember where you were when the Never-Trumpers shot President Trump? You know, these Democrats will stop at nothing, right? This AI photo and everything with Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham shooting the president, assassinating Charlie Kirk. These Never-Trumpers will stop at nothing. And when, I tell you, when President Trump is so amazing, when President Trump got up after he had been shot and the blood is on his face and he said, fight, 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 that was it. You know, those of us that have been with Trump, you know, I was supporting Trump running. He was first talking about running back in 2011. And I was supporting his run for the presidency then. That's when Mitt Romney ended up getting the nomination those times around. You know, so I've been with Trump, and I know a lot of you have been with Trump since he came down the escalator and everything else. And, you know, we've seen everything that they put him through. They broke into his lawyer's office. They broke into his house. They did all these things, right? They were spying on him at Trump, everything they did. And a lot of people thought we were nuts. Like a lot of people think I'm crazy with the Lindsey Graham assassination that I was talking about this morning, right? You know, and a lot of people think we're nuts about these things. But when the Never-Trumpers shot President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, millions of people said, you know what, these MAGA people aren't crazy. these basket of deplorables are right. They are after this guy, and everything they're saying that they've been trying to do to President Trump is true. And they red-pilled America that day. The millions of people who thought we were nuts, that were not MAGA, they that day supported. You know, my mother voted for Donald Trump. She never voted for a Republican in her life. She's retired in her 70s, and she voted for Donald Trump. And there's millions of people just like her. They couldn't beat him. They saw the polls. He was unbeatable, so they said, well, shoot him. And the Lord above had that PowerPoint presentation on the opposite side of the stage that it normally is at, and the president, while he did get shot, was spared. And he's changing the world, and they hate him still. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kyle. I'm calling from Cali.
All right, Kyle in California.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling, seeing what's up with you guys.
Yeah.
The topic exactly.
Scrolling. Why aren't you working? It's like middle of the day in California.
Yeah, well, that's actually kind of why I called too. I was wondering to get your thoughts of the idea of a right to a job.
Why, they don't let you have a job in California?
No, I mean just like would it be a good idea to have a right to a job?
What is that? What does that mean? You want to pass a law, like first of all, nobody listening believes you want a job. But you want to pass a law that gives people the right to a job? I don't understand what that means. You would hate that because maybe you'd have to get one. But what does this law look like to you? You know,
it'd basically be like agriculture type jobs.
How old are you?
Farm work.
How old are you? How old are you?
33.
Join the Army.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in what? Work, dedication, service to your country?
No, it's murder. So
it's murder.
Murdering people.
It's murder. Yeah. No, there's no infantry involved in any combat right now. You can get a non-combat role. Join the Coast Guard. You could join the Coast Guard. They rescue people. They rescue people.
The driver in a robbery is still, you're part of the robbery, you know.
Uh-huh. When's the last time you had a job?
About a year ago.
And you haven't had a job for a year? So how do you pay for things?
No, I just live with my parents.
You live off your parents? Really? Are you really 33? What year were you born?
Yeah.
What year were you born?
93.
93. You're a 33-year-old man? Do you live with your parents?
Yeah, I take care of my mom. So.
How do you take care of your mom if you don't have a job? It sounds like you're mooching off mom.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Are you serious to me? Are you really a 33-year-old man who has no job, who's living off his mother?
Yeah, well, I do apply. It's just I haven't got made the final link yet, but I did work security.
Well,
so.
Is there a Walmart in your neighborhood? A Walmart?
Yeah.
They're hiring. Is there a McDonald's in your neighborhood? An In-N-Out Burger in your neighborhood? They're hiring.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah?
I just haven't seemed to get one yet. That's all.
I wonder why. Do you smoke weed?
No, I'm actually stopped for a while now.
How long? Well, how long have you stopped? When's the last time you smoked weed?
Maybe a year. I don't know.
A year?
Yeah.
So you've been out of work a year. What was your last job?
It was a sales associate at a Dollar General.
A Dollar General? Okay, they have Dollar General still out there. Well, there's all kinds of retail jobs. You mean to tell me you can't get a retail job? The minimum wage is pretty high out there in California, too. I'm in Florida.
Yeah, I've done a lot of online applications. It just never seemed to get to interview process even. Just dead end after dead end.
Yeah. Come on. There's gas stations. There's always a job. I have
Well,
never been without a job, and I've been working since I was like 16. So I've been working almost 40. I'm 55, and I was really working before that, mowing lawns and doing other things. So I have been working for 40 years nonstop without any break. So why have I been working nonstop for 40 years? And you're 33. When I was 33, my goodness, I had a child, I had a wife. So why have I been employed for 40 years and you're out of work and can't find work? Why do you think?
well, there is that, I heard you can sue companies if you're up.
No, you can. Oh, but yeah,
You,
yeah. So why have I worked for 40 years and you can't get a job?
It could also be your existence is just placation for everyone else. Like,
What does that mean?
you're not doing it. Well, I mean, like, you're an example of what people should do.
Yes.
And you are just
Yes.
given these opportunities.
Nobody.
to
Are you
bring
kidding me?
people down.
You think opportunities have just been given to me?
Well, someone would have to actively choose you, right?
No.
So you just work for yourself then.
Well, I do a lot of different things. If you watch me enough on YouTube, you'll see. I do a radio show every morning that I live stream here on YouTube. I have my YouTube channel. I have my podcast. I got all kinds of things going on.
What I'm basically saying is you would be an exception, not the rule.
No, I'm just I'm a man.
Okay, you can say that.
Yeah, and you're not. I feel bad for you. Do you just live with mom or is dad there too?
Oh, Dad's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He got the cancer, so.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Go back to your video games. What's your favorite video game? What are you playing on the gaming computer these days? What's hot?
I just play single-player games. I don't
Single-player
really play online or
games?
anything, but
Yeah, single-player games.
The right to the job, though.
Yeah.
I think the right to the job is kind of necessary,
Why?
though.
A
Because
right to a
lot of
job?
the-
There's jobs. There's jobs all over the place. You just don't want one. All right, take care, man. All right. Oh my goodness, his poor mother. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, the 33-year-old caller that was just online, I'm banging his...
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Oh my. It really, when I was 33, now everybody's got their stories, right? No hard luck stories here, but he's 33 living with his mom. When I was 33, that was about the time I bought this house, my wife and I, that we live in now. I was married, okay, bought a house. This is our second house because we had a condo before this, right? So I'm married, bought our second house, full-time job. I had a second job, a kid. My daughter was 4, right? No, actually, let's see, what year was I 33 in? My daughter was like 5, and I was going to college. I wasn't sitting around playing single-player games, living off my mom. Oh my goodness. And a lot of people, that are listening, you might think I was mean to that guy. You know what that guy needs? He needs a father figure like me to tell him what life's all about. That's what he needs, and he needs people to tell him what's up. And if he had that in his life, he would not be living off of his mom. Now, if you'd like to support my content, all the content I bring to you, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description. And when you become a Patreon supporter, by the way, you get access to all kinds of exclusive content, including my daily live streams that are for Patreon members only. And it's a troll-free zone, and it's a great community. It's a live stream very much like here on YouTube, and I talk about things that I cannot and I'm not allowed to talk about here or anywhere else. And I do that every day. And those of you that are Patreon supporters, you can vouch for me on that, right? Absolutely. Now, if you go to the Patreon page, the link is in the description on whatever platform you're listening on. There's an option to become a free Patreon supporter. If you do that, you don't have access to any of the content. You've got to be a paying Patreon supporter, which starts at just $5 a month, and you get access to all of the exclusive content, and there's a lot more, which includes the live streams, and you also get access to the whole back catalog there as well. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Rick, Michael, and Robert R. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. If you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please do me the favor of liking the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. And that, of course, helps grow the channel. So if you guys could go ahead and do that, I would appreciate it. So the president announced he's going to address the nation Thursday night at 9 p.m. We don't know what it's about yet. It'll probably leak out beforehand. But he gave this interview today on Fox about the Strait of Hormuz. The guardian of the strait. I like that. Wow, that's great. We're the Guardians of the Strait now. We got a new name. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Dixon Myers.
Yes, okay. There you go. They're out there, guys. They're out there. Again, please make sure that you like the video if you're new to the program. And everyone who's new, welcome and subscribe, all right? Now, I'll be live first thing tomorrow morning, as I am every morning, 7 days a week. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Take care, everyone. I'll see you first.